most of you know that I got my recovery through exercise. Wellness is a vital part of what I do what I did to initiate my recovery and to sustain my recovery. When I was in federal prison, I kind of gravitated toward the guys that had a whole lot of time. So my workout crew consists of Tony Walker, he had about 130 years. Blue had about 20-something years. Junior had a life sentence, and it was me with 13 years. So we developed a sprint routine that's based off NFL sprint routine where you do 10 hundreds, 880s, 660s, and 440s. It's really, really intense. Followed by a cool down mile. So we was dedicated. We was committed to doing this sprint routine every Saturday morning at 7 o'clock, no matter what. If they let us out the cage, we was running. So I remember one Saturday morning, I'm walking around, I see my crew, and I'm like, what y'all gonna do? It's like, man, it's too cold, bro. I was like, man, I'm going. It's like, man, we ain't going. One guy was like, man, I pulled my hamstring, I really can't go nowhere. I was like, well, I'm gonna show y'all. I told myself I was gonna do it. I'm a man of my word, and y'all know how if y'all don't know, most of the time in prison, your word is everything you got. Mm-hmm. So I said, since I told myself I was gonna go, I'm gonna go. So I go out there, and it's so cold. And I don't know if anybody knows, but when it's cold, it's real hard to breathe. So I'm out there, and I start doing my hundreds. I'm going. I'm noticing that my times are a little slow. So I started getting down on myself. I'm like, man, I'm supposed to do this in 30 minutes. I'm not gonna make it. So I noticed my times are slow and I'm gassed. So by the time I get to the bottom of the 80s and going into the 60s, I can't even hardly breathe. And I started thinking like, man, nobody don't know if I quit because I'm the only one out here. So I can just stop here and I can go up with my chest out and peacock proud saying, hey, at least I did more than you. But something inside of me says, you know what? Integrity says doing what you said you're gonna do even when ain't nobody looking. So I thought. Then I had my grandmother had just passed away, and I was actually on the phone with my mom when my grandmother died. So later I realized that I was listening to a podcast with Oprah, and she was talking about Maya Angelou. And she said that in Maya's transition, that she felt more close to her than what she was when she was physically here. And I learned that later on. So I kind of felt this presence come over me that said, man, you know what? Do what you say you're gonna do. So I finished. I went through, I did my 60s, I finished my 40s, and I'm gassed. So as I'm coming up the hill, the guys that didn't go was standing there waiting on me. So they was like, man, we're seeing you out there, and we thought you was gonna quit. And I was like, man, I couldn't quit because I felt like somebody was watching me. I felt like I had a connection to something that was above me, that was in me, that made me run on. So as I got up the hill and then we got up and we was talking about it, and it was like, man, I noticed that nobody cared if I met my times. Nobody cared if I was the fastest. Nobody cared if I was the most agile. What people was looking for is that I did what I said I was gonna do, and I didn't quit. So when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road that you're traveling seems all uphill, when your funds are low and your debt is high, when you want to smile but you're forced aside, when the cares of this world press you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. You see, life is kind of quick with its twists and turns, as each and every one of you will sometime learn. Many a men but turned about when they would have quit if they just stuck it out. So don't give up, though the pace may slow, for you may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to faint and faltering men. Often the struggler has given up when he would obtain that master's cup. For he learned too late when the night came down how close he was to the victor's crown. You see, success is failure turned inside out. It's that silver lining in the cloud of doubt, because you never really know how close you are. You may meet near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight. When your heart is split, when your heart is hit, just stick to the fight, y'all, because it's gonna get rough. Stick to the fight when your heart is hit and when things get rough. Don't y'all ever, ever quit. If I did not give some acknowledgments, you wouldn't be in your chair today if it wasn't for my team. Karen, please give her a round of applause. of the co-founder, Jordan Robb. We might not be here today. And I definitely wouldn't be here. Y'all wouldn't be here if somebody didn't believe in me more than I believe in myself. Neil! Y'all say y'all the best Cares. On 3, I want to hear y'all say Cares 37. 1, 2, 3.